The envelope hits the silk duvet with a sound like a slap. $50,000 in $100 bills, bound with a rubber band, tossed like trash. That should buy you a nice life in the suburbs, Julian says. His Tom Ford suit doesn't have a single wrinkle. His platinum cufflinks catch the amber light from the crystal chandelier. He's zipping his Toomey suitcase, the monogrammed one I gave him for his birthday. The leather is butter soft, expensive, like everything else he owns, like everything else he thinks he owns. The clock on the mahogany mantle strikes 12:01 a.m. 4 hours ago, I was his bride. Now, I'm his charity case. If you've ever been abandoned by someone who underestimated you, don't look away. This isn't a story about heartbreak. It's about the 60 seconds it takes to decide whether you're going to break or whether you're going to break them. The imperial suite of the Sterling Grand smells like victory that's gone sour. French lilies, 200 stems positioned by Julian's mother's decorator, flood the air with a sweetness that makes my throat close. The wedding cake sits untouched on the marble table by the terrace. 5 tiers of vanilla and champagne buttercream. The sugar flowers are wilting under the heat lamps. My wedding dress weighs 23 pounds. I know because I asked the boutique manager. Vera Wang. Custom lace. Hand-sewn pearls running down the bodice like tears. The train spreads across the Persian rug in a pool of white silk that looks like a surrender flag. I'm still wearing the veil, the cathedral-length one that Julian's mother insisted on. It's pinned to my hair with antique combs that belonged to her grandmother. Sterling family heirlooms. She made me sign a document promising to return them. I should have known then. Julian stands by the door. 6'2". Blue eyes the color of Arctic ice. The same eyes that looked at me across a Princeton seminar room 2 years ago and said, "You're the smartest person I've ever met." The same eyes that now won't meet mine. This was a business transaction, Alara. His voice is flat, clinical, the way he talks about quarterly earnings. My family needed the optics of me marrying a woman of the people to soften our corporate image before the IPO. The board wanted diversity. The press wanted a Cinderella story. He picks up his suitcase, sets it upright. The wheels click against the marble. But let's be real, he continues. You're a scholarship girl from the outskirts. Your father was a janitor. Your mother cleaned houses. You don't belong in a room that costs more than your parents' house. The words float between us. Each one a knife. I stand. The dress rustles, heavy, suffocating. Julian. My voice comes out smaller than I want. We said vows 4 hours ago, in front of 300 people. Vows, my PR team wrote. He checks his Patek Philippe, the one his father gave him when he graduated Harvard Business School. It's 12:02 a.m. The photographer already posted the pictures. The press already ran the headlines. Tech billionaire marries inner city scholarship student. Mission accomplished. He reaches into his jacket, pulls out a business card, places it on the console table beside the envelope of cash. My lawyers will handle the annulment by Monday. Don't call me. Don't contact my family. If you behave, there might be more money down the line. But if you make a scene, his eyes finally meet mine. Empty, cold. My mother has friends in every newsroom in this city. They'll destroy you. He walks to the door. His hand closes around the brass handle. Gold-plated. Imported from Italy. I picked it out when the hotel was being renovated 3 years ago. He doesn't know that. One more thing, Julian says without turning around. Leave the jewelry, the earrings, the necklace, the rings. They're Sterling property. My mother will send someone to collect them in the morning. The door opens. Cool hallway air rushes in. I smell his cologne, Creed Aventus. $245 per bottle. I bought him a case for Christmas. Goodbye, Alara. He steps into the hallway. It was a beautiful wedding. You should be proud. The door clicks shut. Silence. The kind that makes your ears ring. I stare at the door. At the gold-plated handle. At my reflection in the full-length mirror across the room. A girl in a torn veil. Mascara starting to run. Lipstick faded. Still holding a bouquet of white peonies that cost $800. I should cry. That's what happens, isn't it? The abandoned bride collapses, calls her mother, posts something cryptic on social media. Becomes a cautionary tale about men who trick poor girls into thinking they're loved. But something happens in my chest. Not a break, a snap. Like ice cracking under weight it was never meant to hold. I set down the bouquet, walked to the nightstand, past the envelope of cash, past the business card with the lawyer's number. I pick up the phone, not my cell phone, the house phone. Gold-plated, vintage rotary design. A direct line that only exists in 12 suites across the Sterling Grand's 40-story tower. The line reserved for VVIPs. I dial the extension I memorized when I was 16 years old. 7 digits that connect to an office 3 floors above me. It rings once. Chairwoman Cross. The voice is male, clipped, British accent. My global director of operations. We weren't expecting a call tonight. Is everything all right? I look at the door, at the space where Julian stood 60 seconds ago. No, Charles, I say. My voice doesn't shake, doesn't waver. Everything is not all right, but it's about to be. I walk to the terrace. The Chicago skyline spreads before me, a grid of lights. A city Julian thinks he owns because his family's name is on 3 buildings. He doesn't know my family's name is on 200 buildings across 6 continents. Julian Sterling just exited the Imperial Suite, I say into the phone. Terminate his black card privileges across all properties, immediately. Silence. Then, Madam Chairwoman, do you mean every property? Tokyo, London, Dubai, Paris, New York, Chicago. If he tries to check into any Cross Hotel Group location, his reservation is declined. If he tries to use his status for upgrades, he has no status. Effective immediately. Understood. I hear typing. Fast. Efficient. And his luggage? I look at the wedding cake, at the wilting sugar flowers, at the envelope of cash on the bed. Leave it on the sidewalk, I say. In the rain, more typing. Then, Madam, the weather service is reporting thunderstorms within the hour. Should we? I know what the weather is, Charles. I lean against the terrace railing. The wind catches my veil, lifts it. Put his suitcase outside the main entrance. No umbrella, no covering. Let him find it when he comes back from wherever he's celebrating his freedom. Immediately. Madam Chairwoman. A pause. May I say it's good to hear your voice again. The board was concerned when you announced your sabbatical. My sabbatical. That's what I called it when I enrolled at Princeton under a scholarship. When I pretended to be a girl from the South Side whose father cleaned buildings instead of the girl whose father built them. When I spent 2 years testing whether Julian Sterling loved me or the power he thought I'd help him secure through my fake diversity appeal. He failed the test. The sabbatical is over, Charles. I say, prepare the board. I'm resuming my position effective immediately, and I want a full audit of Sterling Cross Technologies, Julian's startup, the one we funded through the Midnight Holdings shell company. The one he doesn't know we funded? That's the one. I smile. Small, cold. Let's see how his IPO does when his seed capital disappears. I hang up, walk back into the suite. The dress drags behind me, 23 pounds of silk and pearls and lies. I go to the bathroom. 1,200 square feet of Carrara marble and gold fixtures. I unzip the dress, let it fall. It pools around my feet like a corpse. I step into the shower. The water is scalding. I turn it hotter. When I emerge 15 minutes later, the girl Julian abandoned is gone. Washed down the drain with the mascara and the lipstick and the performance of the last 2 years. I dry off. Walk to the closet. Pull out the garment bag I'd hidden behind the hotel bathrobe. Inside is a suit. Charcoal gray. Tom Ford. Tailored to perfection. I bought it 3 months ago. Just in case. I dress. The fabric is crisp. Powerful. The blouse underneath is silk. White. The heels are Louboutin. Black. 5 inches. The kind that make you walk differently. Like you own the ground beneath you. Because I do. I pull my hair back. Tight. Low knot at the base of my skull. No softness. No romance. Just sharp lines and sharper edges. Diamond studs in my ears. The ones I bought myself with my first dividend check when I turned 21. Not the Sterling heirlooms. Those are already in the safe to be returned to Beatrice in the morning with a note I haven't written yet. I look in the mirror. The girl looking back is someone Julian never met. Someone his mother never calculated. Someone who owns the $60 billion hotel empire he's currently standing inside. I check my watch. Cartier. My father's gift when I graduated, summa cum laude from MIT. Before I decided to play poor for 2 years. 12:45 a.m., 44 minutes since Julian walked out. Time to walk back in. The elevator descends, 40 floors, each number lighting up. 40, 35, 30. The mirrors reflect a woman Julian wouldn't recognize. A woman in a power suit. A woman who isn't crying. The doors open to the lobby. The Sterling Grand at night is a cathedral of marble and gold, crystal chandeliers the size of cars, columns imported from Italy, a check-in desk carved from a single piece of mahogany. The floors are polished to a mirror shine. Every footstep echoes. Security stands at attention as I pass. 4 men in dark suits, earpieces. They nod. Madam Chairwoman. The concierge looks up from his desk. His eyes widen. He hasn't seen me in 2 years. Miss Cross. Mrs. Sterling, It's Cross. I correct. It was always Cross. Where is he? The concierge doesn't need clarification. The Sovereign Bar, madam. With a guest. A guest. Michelle Torres, 26. Marketing executive. The woman Julian's been seeing for 8 months. The one he thought I didn't know about because I was too simple to check credit card statements. I walk toward the bar. My heels click against marble. The sound carries. Loud, deliberate, a countdown. The Sovereign Bar is all leather and dark wood. Bottles backlit in amber. A piano in the corner playing something soft and expensive. 20 people scattered across high-backed chairs. Conversations in hushed tones. Business deals. Affairs. Secrets. Julian sits at the bar. His jacket is off. Tie loosened. He's laughing. His hand is on Michelle's thigh. She's wearing a red dress. Tight. Too tight for a hotel this expensive. Her laugh is high, performative. They're celebrating. Julian signals the bartender. Young, nervous. A bottle of your best Cristal, the 2012. The bartender's eyes flick to me, then back to Julian. Of course, Mr. Sterling. Let me just run my card, Julian interrupts. He slides his black diamond Amex across the bar. The titanium catches the light. $5,000 for a bottle of champagne. That's how you celebrate freedom. The bartender picks up the card, swipes it. The machine beeps. Julian's smile freezes. That's impossible. Run it again. The bartender swipes. The machine beeps again. Louder, sharper, declined. There's no limit on that card, Julian says. His voice rises. The bar goes quiet. 20 people watching. It's a black diamond. Do you understand what that means? I do, sir. The bartender's hand trembles. But the system is saying the account has been suspended. Julian stands. Grabs the card. Stares at it like it betrayed him. I step into the light of the chandelier above the bar. It's not the account, Julian, I say. He turns. His blue eyes meet mine. Confusion. Then recognition. Then something that looks like fear. It's the owner. Julian's mouth opens. Closes. Opens again. No sound comes out. Behind him, Michelle's red dress suddenly looks cheap under the chandelier light. She's staring at me like I'm a ghost. Elara? Julian's voice cracks. What? Why are you dressed like someone who belongs here? I step closer. The bar is silent now. 20 witnesses with phones in their pockets. You were right about one thing, Julian. I don't belong in rooms like this. His face relaxes, relief, like he's winning. I own them. The words land like thunder. Julian laughs. It's the wrong response. Nervous. Desperate. That's insane. You're a scholarship student. Your father was a janitor. I ran a background check before I proposed. You ran a background check on Ilara Cross, scholarship recipient from the South Side. I signal the bartender. He approaches like I'm royalty. Because I am. You didn't run a check on Ilara Michelle Cross, only daughter of David and Catherine Cross, founders of Cross Hotel Group. 60 billion in assets, 200 properties, 6 continents. The bartender sets down a glass of water. Crystal, no ice. The way I've always taken it. Thank you, James, I say. My pleasure, Madam Chairwoman, he replies. Julian's face goes white, actually white, like someone drained his blood. My father wasn't a janitor, I continue. My voice is steady, calm, the way you explain simple concepts to children. He was a facilities manager. for Cross Hotel Group. He managed 200 janitors across 50 properties. But you heard janitor and stopped listening. Just like you heard scholarship and assumed poverty. I take a sip of water, let him process. I enrolled at Princeton under a partial scholarship, one I didn't need, because I wanted to see what happened when people thought I was nobody. I wanted to test whether the men who approached me wanted me or the $6 billion trust fund I'd inherited at 30. Julian's hand grips the edge of the bar, knuckles white. You failed the test, Julian. Spectacularly. Michelle stands. Her chair scrapes against the floor. I don't understand. If you're rich, why did you? Why did I let your boyfriend humiliate me? I turn to her. She flinches. Because I needed to know if he loved me or the idea of me. Turns out he loved neither. He loved the optics. I pull out my phone, show them the screen. It's a wire transfer confirmation. $40 million from Midnight Holdings LLC to Cross Personal Holdings. That's the seed capital we provided to Sterling Cross Technologies 2 years ago through a shell company. Julian thought it came from a venture capital firm. It didn't. It came from me. And as of tonight, I'm calling in the loan with interest. Julian grabs the phone, stares at it. His hand shakes. You can't the IPO. We're going public in 3 months. If you pull funding, your company collapses. I take back the phone. I know. That's the point. 4 security guards appear behind Julian. They're not aggressive, just present. Large, immovable. Mr. Sterling, the head of security, says. His voice is professional, polite, devastating. Madam Chairwoman has revoked your guest privileges. We'll need you to leave the property. Julian spins, looks at me. His eyes are wet, desperate. Alara, please. I made a mistake. I was scared. The pressure from my family. Your family. I laugh. It's sharp. Let's talk about your family. Your mother, Beatrice. She's currently at the Sterling estate, correct? He nods, confused. Not for long. I purchased the mortgage through Midwest Trust Holdings last month. Beatrice is 3 payments behind. As of 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, the property enters foreclosure proceedings. Julian's face crumples. You can't. That's my mother's house. She's lived there for 40 years. She can buy it back. I signal the guards. With the $50,000 you left on my bed, the guards move. Efficient. Professional. They don't grab Julian. They don't need to. He's already broken. Michelle edges toward the exit. I stop her with a look. The penthouse downtown. I say, unit 4,725. Monthly rent, $15,000. Paid from a Sterling Cross corporate account. That's embezzlement, Michelle. And since you're the one signing the invoices, you're complicit. Her red dress suddenly looks like a target. I'll be forwarding the documentation to the IRS on Monday. You might want to get a lawyer. She runs, heels clicking, desperate, gone. Julian stands between the guards, smaller somehow, like someone deflated him. Why, he asks? If you had all this money, all this power, why spend 2 years pretending to be poor? I step close enough to smell his cologne, close enough to see the fear in his Arctic eyes. Because I wanted to know if anyone could love me without the money, without the name, without the empire. I smile, cold, final. You couldn't, and now you never will. The guards escort him toward the exit. He doesn't resist, doesn't fight, just walks. A man who had everything and lost it in 45 minutes. I watch him go. The lobby is silent, 20 people pretending not to stare, phones out, recording. By morning, this will be on every social media platform. Good. I walk to the concierge desk. Charles, please ensure Mr. Sterling's luggage is placed on the curb. The weather report mentioned rain. Yes, madam. Thunderstorms arriving within the hour. Perfect. I turn toward the elevator. And Charles? Have housekeeping remove the wedding cake from the Imperial suite. Donate it to a shelter. Someone should enjoy it. Of course, Madam Chairwoman. The elevator doors open. I step inside. The mirrors reflect a woman who is finally, completely, herself. 12:58 a.m. 57 minutes since Julian walked out. And now he's the one locked outside. As the elevator ascends, my phone buzzes. Unknown number. I answer. Impressive. The voice is male, deep, unfamiliar. I've been watching Julian Sterling for 2 years. waiting for him to make a mistake big enough to destroy him. You did it in under an hour. Who is this? Someone who thinks you and I should talk. Tomorrow, midnight, the Apex Club. The line goes dead. I look at the phone. At the unknown number already disappeared. Someone was watching. Someone powerful enough to have my private number. Someone who knows about the Apex Club, the rooftop venue Julian's family has exclusive access to. Had exclusive access to. If you've ever dismantled someone's world and realized someone else was taking notes, stay close, because the real game is just beginning. 2:47 a.m., I'm in the Imperial Suite, changed into silk pajamas, drinking tea, chamomile. The terrace doors are open, rain pours, the kind that soaks through expensive fabric in seconds. My phone buzzes. Security. Madam Chairwoman, Mr. Sterling has returned to the property. He's requesting entry. I walk to the terrace. Look down. 40 stories. Julian is on the sidewalk. His Tom Ford suit is plastered to his body. His hair is flat, dark. His suitcase, the butter-soft Toomey leather, sits in a puddle. The monogram is bleeding, running down the side like tears. He's looking up, at the building, at the glowing logo, Sterling Grand. He doesn't know that by sunrise, it won't say that anymore. Tell him the property is at capacity, I say into the phone. He's insisting he's a platinum member. He was a platinum member. Now he's trespassing. If he doesn't leave in 60 seconds, call the police. I hang up. Watch Julian receive the news from security. Watch his shoulders slump. Watch him pick up his ruined suitcase and walk away into the rain. Alone. 7 a.m. I walk through the lobby in a cream Armani suit. Hair down, loose waves, diamond necklace. The one my mother gave me when I graduated MIT with dual degrees in hospitality management and finance. The entire staff is lined up. 20 people in crisp uniforms. Concierge, bartenders, housekeeping, valets. They bow as I pass. Not a slight nod, a full bow, waist bent, respect that can't be faked. Welcome back, Madam Chairwoman, they say in unison. I stop, look at each face. Some I remember from before my sabbatical. Some are new. Thank you, I say. It's good to be home. 8 a.m. I'm on the rooftop. A crane hoists a new sign. The old logo Sterling Grand is being lowered. 40 years of Julian's family name gone. The new logo rises. Polished steel, LED lit, modern, powerful, cross heights. My father named it. Before he died. Before I inherited everything. Before I decided to test the world by pretending to be powerless. The crane operator signals. The logo locks into place. Chicago's skyline wakes up, sun rising. A new day. A new empire. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Beautiful morning for a rebrand. See you tonight. S. The voice from last night. The mysterious caller. The one who knows too much. I look at the message. At the Apex Club meeting tonight at midnight, Julian's world ended at 12:01 a.m. yesterday. Mine begins at midnight today. My assistant approaches. Young. Efficient. New hire. Madam, there's a woman here to see you. She says it's urgent. Her name is Beatrice Sterling. I smile. Turn from the skyline. Send her up. If you've ever faced the mother of the man who betrayed you, knowing you hold all the cards, you know this feeling. It's not satisfaction. It's justice. Don't stop now. The real confrontation is about to begin. Beatrice Sterling doesn't knock. She never has. She enters my office like she owns it. Black Chanel suit, pearl necklace, 3 strands, each one worth $50,000. Her silver hair is perfect, swept back, severe. Her lipstick is the color of dried blood. She's 72, looks 60. Money does that. Alara. She doesn't sit, doesn't ask permission, just stands, evaluating. I underestimated you. That's rare. It's a common mistake people make about me. I gesture to the chair across from my desk. Please, sit. She sits, crosses her legs, perfectly postured, finishing school trained. My son called me at 3 a.m, hysterical, said you destroyed his credit, humiliated him publicly, threatened his company. I did all of those things. I leaned back in my chair. Leather. High-backed. My father's chair. Would you like tea? I want an explanation. Your son abandoned me on our wedding night. Called me a charity case. Told me I didn't belong in rooms I own. So I reminded him of his place, which is beneath me. Beatrice's eyes narrow. You're angry. I understand. Julian made a tactical error. But you're being emotional. Impulsive. Let's discuss a settlement. There's nothing to settle. I opened my laptop. Turn it toward her. On screen, mortgage documents. Foreclosure notices. Legal filings. The Sterling estate. Purchased by your husband's grandfather in 1952. Mortgage refinanced in 2019 after your investments in Julian's company went south. Current balance, $12 million. Payments missed, 3. Foreclosure proceedings, initiated this morning at 6 a.m. Her face doesn't move, but her fingers tighten around her Hermes bag. You bought my mortgage through Midwest Trust Holdings, a subsidiary of Cross Financial Group. I close the laptop. You have 2 options. Pay the full balance by end of business today, or vacate the property by end of week. Beatrice sets down her bag, slowly, deliberately. You think you've won. I know I've won. No. She smiles, thin, sharp. You've made a miscalculation. The prenuptial agreement Julian had you sign. Did you read it? Every word, including the abandonment clause, which entitles me to $40 million in penalties. Page 67, subsection 12. Beatrice leans forward. There's a reversion clause. If the marriage is annulled before sunrise of the wedding night, ownership of any jointly held assets, including the Sterling Grand, which Julian was named co-owner of in the marriage contract, reverts to the Sterling family trust. My blood goes cold. You never gave Julian co-ownership, I say. But my voice is less certain. Check the documents you signed at the rehearsal dinner. The ones Julian's lawyer said were just formalities. One of them was a property transfer, making Julian a 50% owner of this hotel. She's lying. She has to be. But what if she's not? You have until sunrise tomorrow, Beatrice continues. 6:23 a.m. If the marriage isn't legally dissolved by then, the annulment goes through, and Julian gets half of Cross Heights, which means I get half, and once I have half, I'll make your life a legal nightmare until you sell me the other half. She stands, smooths her skirt. You're smart, Elara, but you're young, and you forgot the first rule of dealing with families like mine. We always have a backup plan. I stand, walk to the window, look down at Michigan Avenue, cars, people, a city that doesn't know 2 empires are at war. You're right about one thing, I say without turning. I am young, which means I grew up in the digital age. I don't sign documents without scanning them, and I don't trust lawyers I don't hire. I turn, face her. The property transfer you're referring to? I didn't sign it. I signed a document that looked identical, but the signature isn't mine. It's a digital forgery I planted. Been doing it since I was 16. A little trick I learned from my father. Beatrice's smile fades. Your backup plan was good, I continue. But I had a backup for your backup. The Sterling Grand was never in the prenup. Because I transferred ownership to Cross Heights International 3 days before the wedding, Julian never owned any part of this hotel. And neither do you. I walk to my desk, press the intercom. Security, Mrs. Sterling is leaving now. Please escort her to her vehicle and ensure she doesn't return without an appointment. 2 guards appear in the doorway. Beatrice looks at them, at me, at the empire slipping through her fingers. This isn't over, she says. Yes, I reply, it is. As the guards escort Beatrice out, my phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Not the same one as before, a new one. Your property transfer was smart, but you missed something. Check the documents from the rehearsal dinner again. Specifically, page 12. The signature isn't the issue, the witness is. Beatrice. I pull up the documents. Page 12. The witness signature line. The name, Michelle Torres. Julian's mistress. The woman who was in the room when I signed. The woman who could testify I signed under duress. Or fraud. Or any number of things that would invalidate the transfer. My hands shake. If you've ever won a battle only to realize the war is bigger than you thought, you understand this moment. This is where amateurs give up. But you're not an amateur. Stay with me. Because what happens next will teach you that every empire needs an architect, and I'm about to meet mine. 9 a.m. My office overlooks Lake Michigan. The water is gray today. Stormy. Appropriate. I call my lawyer. Patricia Chen. Harvard Law. 15 years experience in corporate warfare. She answers on the first ring. Alara, I saw the news. You're trending. Hotel heiress destroys ex-husband in under an hour. Congratulations. I have a problem. Tell me. I explained the witness signature. Michelle Torres. The potential testimony that could unravel the property transfer. Silence. Then that's bad. If Torres testifies you signed under false pretenses, the Sterling family gets leverage. They don't need to win. They just need to tie me up in court long enough to damage the IPO, scare investors, and force a settlement. Exactly. Patricia's keyboard clicks. We need to neutralize Torres. Pay her off. Threaten her. Something. No, I stand. Walk to the window. We need to make her irrelevant. How? By proving I didn't need to transfer anything, because I never lost ownership in the first place. I tell Patricia about MIT. About the summer I spent in my father's office learning every legal loophole in real estate law. About the shell companies I created when I was 19. About Midnight Holdings. The Sterling Grand was never owned by Cross Hotel Group directly, I explained. It's owned by Midnight Holdings LLC, a Delaware corporation I created when I was 20. My father transferred the deed to me as a graduation gift. But the public records still show Cross Hotel Group as the operator, not the owner. Patricia's voice changes. Excited. So even if the property transfer to Cross Heights International is invalidated, it doesn't matter, because the underlying ownership was always mine. Through Midnight Holdings, Julian's prenup only covered assets owned by Cross Hotel Group, not assets I personally owned through separate entities. You sneaky genius, Patricia laughs. You planned this years ago. My father taught me to always have an exit strategy. For everything, even love. I think about my father, David Cross, self-made billionaire. Started with one motel in Gary, Indiana. Built an empire. Died when I was 24. Heart attack. Sudden. He left me everything, including the lesson, midnight. The elevator climbs, not descends. Up, through 40 floors of glass and steel, through the clouds that sit low over Chicago tonight. The rain has stopped, left the city slick, reflective, like the whole world is made of mirrors. The Apex Club sits on top of the Thorn Tower, 60 stories, all black glass, a spire that cuts the sky. I've never been here. Julian talked about it constantly. His family had lifetime memberships, past tense, because 30 minutes ago, I purchased the entire building. Thorn Tower is now Cross Tower. The elevator doors open. Wind hits me first. Cold, sharp, the kind that reminds you how high up you are. The rooftop is all steel and glass. Fire pits burning orange. Leather chairs positioned around heat lamps. The city spreads below like a circuit board. Millions of lights. Each one a life I'll never know. One man stands by the northern railing, tall, broad shoulders beneath a midnight blue suit that looks painted on. Dark hair. He doesn't turn when I approach, but he knows I'm here. Miss Cross. His voice matches the phone calls. Deep, controlled, dangerous. You're punctual. You're cryptic. I stop 3 feet away. Safe distance. Escape distance. And you've been watching me. I've been watching Julian Sterling for 2 years. He turns, gray eyes, sharp jawline. A scar cuts through his left eyebrow. Recent. The kind you get from something that should have killed you. You just happen to be the most interesting thing he's ever done. Silas Thorne, 36, self-made billionaire by 30. Lost everything to Julian's betrayal at 34. Rebuilt from nothing in 2 years. The business journals call him the Phoenix. The people who've done business with him call him something else. Ruthless. He gestures to the chair beside him. I sit. He pours whiskey into 2 crystal glasses. Neat. No ice. Hands me one. I don't drink. Not yet. Julian humiliated you 2 years ago, I say. Leaked your acquisition offer to the press. Made you look desperate. Cost you your company. He did more than that. Silas takes a sip. His gray eyes reflect the fire pit. He destroyed my reputation. My investors pulled out. My board resigned. Within 6 months, I had to sell for 30 cents on the dollar. Everything I built for 15 years. Gone. So this is revenge. This is justice. He sets down his glass. There's a difference. Revenge is emotional, irrational. It makes you sloppy. Justice is calculated, patient. It waits for the perfect moment, and then it strikes. The wind shifts. His cologne reaches me. Cedar, smoke, something expensive and wild. The kind of scent that lingers on your clothes hours later. That makes you remember. You waited 2 years, I say. Why not destroy him yourself? Because I needed him to destroy himself first. Silas leans back. Julian's greatest weakness isn't his arrogance. It's his need for validation. He needed you to validate his superiority. When you turned out to be superior, he couldn't handle it. So he abandoned you. And in abandoning you, he handed you every weapon you needed to dismantle him. And you just watched. I positioned the pieces. You moved them. He pulls out his phone, shows me a photograph. But Julian's not done fighting, and neither is his mother. The photograph is time-stamped 3 days ago. A conference room. Sterling Cross Technologies headquarters. Julian and Michelle Torres. But they're not alone. Beatrice is there. And 3 men I don't recognize. Suits, lawyers. They're looking at documents, spreadsheets, bank statements. What am I looking at? I ask. Embezzlement. Silas zooms in. The spreadsheets show wire transfers. 2 million here, 5 million there, routed through shell corporations registered in the Cayman Islands. Julian's been stealing from Sterling Cross for 8 months, siphoning money before the IPO, building a nest egg for when the company inevitably collapses. My stomach drops. How much? 47 million, so far. Silas swipes to the next photo. It's a document. My signature. My employee ID number from when I did contract work for Sterling Cross. And he's framing you for it. The city blurs. The lights smear together. That's impossible. I haven't touched Sterling Cross finances since Julian gave you administrative access 6 months ago to help with the IPO preparations. Remember? Silas's jaw tightens. He gave you access specifically so he could use your credentials to authorize the transfers. Every transaction has your digital signature, your login, your authorization code. I set down the whiskey. My hand shakes. When does the investigation start? Monday. The SEC received an anonymous tip this morning. They'll freeze Sterling Cross assets by noon, subpoena records by evening, and by Wednesday, they'll issue a warrant. For you, 48 hours. I have 48 hours before I become the target of a federal investigation. Why are you telling me this? I look at him, at the scar through his eyebrow, at the city reflected in his gray eyes. What do you want? Silas stands, walks to the railing, looks down at Chicago, at the city that belongs to whoever's willing to take it. I want to partner with you, he says. You have the legal resources, the hotel empire, the reputation. I have the evidence, the connections, the experience of surviving what Julian's about to do to you. You want to use me. I want to save you. He turns, gray eyes meeting mine. And in saving you, I want to destroy him. Completely. No recovery, no redemption. Just the absolute annihilation of everything Julian Sterling has ever touched. The wind cuts across the rooftop. Cold. Sharp. I should walk away. This man is dangerous. This partnership is a gamble. But sitting in my hotel, playing defense against lawyers and prenups and witnesses, that's not how empires are built. Empires are built by taking risks no one else will take. I stand. Walk to where he's standing. The city spreads below us. Infinite. Possible. What's your plan, I ask. Silas smiles. Dangerous. Thrilling. Michelle Torres has been working for me for 6 months. She's been documenting everything. Every transfer. Every forged signature. Every conversation with Beatrice about framing you. And on Sunday night, she's going to hand everything to the FBI. Not as Julian's accomplice. As my witness. You planted her. I recruited her. After Julian started the affair, After I realized he was going to use her the same way he uses everyone, I offered her something better. Protection. Money. A way out. He pulls out a folder, hands it to me. This is every piece of evidence we need. Bank statements, audio recordings, emails, text messages. Julian doesn't just go to prison. He disappears. I open the folder, scan the contents. It's all here. Every crime, every lie, every piece of Julian's empire built on fraud. Why me? I ask. You could take this to the FBI yourself. Destroy Julian. Take back your reputation. Because you're not just smart. Silas steps closer. Not threatening, just present. Real. You're fearless. You spent 2 years playing poor to test a man's character. You dismantled his world in 90 minutes. And you did it while wearing his family's engagement ring. He's close enough now that I smell the cedar. See the gray in his eyes shift to silver in the firelight. I don't need smart, Alara. I need fearless. And you're the most fearless person I've ever met. I look at the folder, at the evidence, at the weapon that could end Julian Sterling forever. Then I look at Silas Thorne, at the man who spent 2 years building a trap, waiting for the perfect moment, playing a long game that required patience I'm not sure I have. If we do this, I say, I need to know one thing. What do you get out of it? Beyond revenge, beyond justice. What's your real goal? Silas doesn't hesitate. Sterling Cross Technologies. When Julian goes to prison, the company collapses. The IPO dies. The assets get liquidated, and I buy them for pennies on the dollar. Then I merge them with Thorne Industries, and I build what Julian was too arrogant to see. An empire. Our empire. He extends his hand. 50-50. You bring the hotels. I bring the tech. Together, we build something neither of us could build alone. I stare at his hand, at the offer, at the dangerous, impossible chance to not just survive Julian's attack, but to turn it into the foundation of something bigger. I shake his hand. His grip is firm, warm, the kind of handshake that seals more than business deals. Partners, I say, partners. He doesn't let go immediately. And Alara? Welcome to the war you were always meant to fight. A phone buzzes. Not mine. Silas pulls out his cell, reads the message. His face hardens. What? I ask. Julian's at your hotel, right now. He's trying to get into your office. I check my phone, security alert. Intruder detected, executive floor, subject, Julian Sterling. He's looking for something, Silas says. The property transfer documents, the Midnight Holdings paperwork. He knows you have legal protection. He's trying to find the loophole. I pull up the security cameras on my phone. Julian is in the hallway outside my office, trying the door. It's locked, biometric. He's looking around, desperate, panicked. Then he pulls out something from his jacket, a key card. Not his, it's Beatrice's, the master key card she kept from when she was on the hotel's advisory board 5 years ago. He swipes it, the door clicks open. He's inside, I say. Silas is already moving toward the elevator. How fast can we get there? 12 minutes. I follow him, heels clicking against steel, but by then he'll have copied everything. Silas hits the elevator button, which is why we're not going to stop him. I look at him, confused. What? The elevator doors open. He steps inside, gray eyes glinting. We're going to let him steal the documents, and when he uses them in court, we're going to prove they're forgeries. Just like you forged your signature on the property transfer. We'll forge his evidence against you. And when the FBI realizes Julian's entire case is built on fraud, the doors close. The elevator descends. Fast. Falling through the clouds. He doesn't just lose his company. He loses his freedom. If you've ever turned your enemy's plan into their own trap, you know this feeling. It's not satisfaction. It's art. Stay close. Because what happens next will show you that the best revenge isn't destroying your enemy. It's letting them destroy themselves while you watch. The Chicago Philanthropy Gala happens once a year. 1,000 guests. $50 million raised for children's hospitals. The venue is the Lacuna Loft's exposed brick, industrial beams, chandeliers made from reclaimed steel that cost more than most people's houses. Tonight, it's a battlefield disguised as charity. I arrive at 8 p.m. alone. No date, No entourage, just me in a dress that makes people forget how to breathe. Red, Valentino, custom, off the shoulder, slit to mid-thigh. The fabric moves like liquid fire, like something alive. The kind of red that doesn't apologize. The kind that makes men stare and women calculate whether they can pull it off. They can't. This dress belongs to women who've won wars. My hair is down tonight, dark waves down my back, loose, free, diamond chandelier earrings. The ones I bought myself after Cross Heights' first billion-dollar quarter. No necklace, don't need one. The dress is the statement. I am Alara Cross, CEO of Cross Hotel Group, and I am done pretending to be anyone else. The doors open. A wave of sound crashes over me. String quartet playing Vivaldi. Champagne glasses clinking like tiny bells. 500 conversations happening at once. The air smells like money. Expensive perfume, ambition, desperation. Floral arrangements tower on every table. White roses, black calla lilies, branches spray-painted gold. Each centerpiece costs $8,000. I know because Cross Hotels provided them. I step inside, heels clicking on polished concrete. The conversations stop. Not all at once, like dominoes falling. One person notices, then two, then 10, then 100. Whispers ripple through the crowd like wind through wheat. Is that Alara Cross? The hotel heiress who destroyed Julian Sterling? She looks incredible. Did you hear she's worth $12 billion now? I keep walking, head high, spine straight. The dress moves around my legs like it's dancing, like it knows it's being watched. Julian stands near the bar, same place as always. He sees me. His champagne glass freezes halfway to his mouth. He's wearing a tuxedo that used to fit better. Lost weight. His face is thinner, harder, older. He's 34, but looks 40. Prison does that. Even minimum security. He served 4 months, plea deal, embezzlement, wire fraud, the charges that stuck after Silas and I handed the evidence to the FBI. He's out on parole now, ankle monitor under his tux, community service, banned from any corporate officer position for life. Sterling Cross Technologies sold for parts. Thorn Industries bought the assets. Silas rebuilt it in 6 months. It's worth $3 billion now. 50-50 ownership, just like we agreed. Beside, Julian is his mother, Beatrice Sterling in Emerald Dior. She sees me. Her lips thin into a line sharp enough to draw blood. I don't look away. I smile. Small, polite, lethal. Then I walk past them toward the stage. The gala coordinator greets me with nervous energy. Miss Cross, we're honored you could attend. Your donation this year, $10 million, is the largest in the event's history. It's important to give back. I hand my clutch to an assistant. I'd like to say a few words during the donor recognition. Of course. She gestures toward the wings. Whenever you're ready, I wait. Let the anticipation build. Let the crowd wonder what the woman who destroyed the Sterling family in 6 months is going to say. The announcer calls my name. Applause thunders through the loft. I walk onto the stage. The lights blind me. Then my eyes adjust. Julian sits in the third row, staring. Beatrice beside him, rigid, furious. In the front row, Silas Thorne, midnight blue suit. Gray eyes watching me with something between admiration and hunger. We're not just business partners anymore. Haven't been for 3 months. Not since the night we celebrated Thorn Industries' acquisition with champagne on the Cross Heights rooftop, and he kissed me like I was the answer to a question he'd been asking his whole life. I approached the podium. Look out at 1,000 people. 1,000 witnesses to what happens when you underestimate the wrong woman. 6 months ago, I say. My voice carries across the loft. Clear. Strong. I was told I didn't belong in rooms like this. I was called a charity case. I was abandoned on what should have been the happiest night of my life. The crowd goes silent. Phones out. Recording. The man who said those things thought he was teaching me my place. What he actually did was remind me where I came from, who I am, and what I'm capable of when someone tries to make me small. I pause. Let it sink in. I've learned something in these 6 months. Success isn't about being born into the right family. It's not about having the right connections or the right last name. Success is about knowing your worth and never letting anyone convince you that you're worth less than everything you've earned. Applause. but I'm not done. So to everyone here tonight who's been told they don't belong, walk in anyway. To everyone who's been called a charity case, prove them wrong. And to everyone who's been abandoned by someone who didn't deserve them in the first place, I look directly at Julian. His eyes are wet, red, desperate. Thank you. You gave me the greatest gift anyone's ever given me. You gave me a reason to stop pretending to be less than I am. Standing ovation. 1,000 people on their feet. But I'm watching Julian. He's standing too. Not applauding, just standing. Looking at me like I'm something he lost and can't get back. I walk off stage. Silas is waiting in the wings. He hands me my clutch. Leans in close. That was devastating, he murmurs. That was necessary. We walk toward the exit. Private car waiting. But Julian intercepts us. Security moves to block him. I raise a hand, let him approach. Elara. His voice cracks. Please, can we talk? No. 5 minutes. That's all I need. I made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. But I've changed. Prison changed me. I see things differently now. You see things differently because you lost. I step closer. Close enough to smell his desperation. You don't want me, Julian. You want what I represent. You want the empire, the power, the validation you thought you'd get from breaking me. His hand reaches for mine. I step back. I loved you, he whispers. No, I look at him, really look at him, at this small, broken man who once made me feel small and broken. You loved the idea of me, the poor girl you could save, the charity case you could elevate. You never loved me because you never knew me. Silas's hand touches my lower back, protective, possessive. Julian sees it. His face crumbles. You're with him now. I'm with someone who sees me as an equal, not a project. I turn toward the exit. Goodbye, Julian. I excuse myself. Head to the women's lounge. Marble and gold. Empty except for the attendant. She nods, steps outside. I'm reapplying lipstick when the door opens. Michelle Torres. She's different now. Hair shorter. Professional. She works for Thorne Industries, head of finance. Silas hired her after the FBI investigation. Gave her a fresh start. Elara. Michelle, I capped the lipstick. You look well. I wanted to thank you for what you and Silas did. Giving me a second chance. I didn't deserve. You deserved protection. You got caught in Julian's web just like I did. I turned to face her. Are you happy? She smiles. Real this time. Yes, I'm seeing someone. A doctor. He doesn't care about my past. Just my future. Good. I pick up my clutch. That's all any of us can ask for. She hesitates. Then, there's something you should know about Beatrice. My stomach tightens. What? She's planning something. A lawsuit. She's claiming the hotel foreclosure was illegal, that you manipulated documents. She has a lawyer willing to take the case. I overheard her on the phone last week. The bathroom tilts. Why are you telling me this? Because you saved me from becoming her next victim. And because she pulls out her phone, shows me a recording. I recorded the conversation, just in case you need it. I take the phone. Listen to Beatrice's voice, detailing a plan to sue me, drag me through court, damage Cross Hotel's reputation. Thank you, I say. She nods, leaves. I stand alone, looking at my reflection. At the woman in the red dress who thought she'd won. But the war isn't over. It's just entering a new phase. If you've ever celebrated victory only to discover the enemy has one more move, you know this dread, this determination, this moment where you realize winning isn't enough. You have to win so completely that they never come back. Stay with me, because what happens next will show you what total victory actually looks like. 9 a.m. I'm in my office. Coffee. Black. The news plays on 3 monitors. CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business. All covering the same story. Sterling Estate enters foreclosure. Beatrice Sterling evicted. I watch the footage. Moving trucks. Beatrice on the lawn in a black coat. Photographers everywhere. Her face is a mask. But I see the cracks. The anchor's voice. This marks the final chapter in the Sterling family's fall from grace. Once worth an estimated 200 million, the family has lost everything following Julian Sterling's embezzlement conviction and the collapse of Sterling Cross Technologies. Patricia Chen calls. The lawsuit Michelle warned you about? It was dismissed. The judge ruled Beatrice has no standing. The foreclosure was legal. She's officially homeless. I should feel something. Satisfaction. Victory. Instead, I feel tired. What about the estate, I ask. Sold at auction this morning. Cross Real Estate Holdings purchased it for $12 million. Donate it to a charity for displaced families. Silence. Then, Elera. That's a $12 million property. I don't want it. I don't want anything that belonged to them. Donate it. I hang up. Tuesday afternoon, I'm at a coffee shop in Lincoln Park, meeting with architects, planning the next Cross Heights expansion. When Beatrice walks in, she looks smaller, older. Her Chanel suit is the same, but something's different. The armor has cracks. She sees me, walks over. No security, no lawyers, just her. Elada, Mrs. Sterling. She doesn't ask to sit, just stands there. You won. Yes. I underestimated you. That was my mistake. It was. She turns to leave, stops. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. For what Julian did, for what I taught him to do, for everything. I watch her walk away. Through the window, into a city that no longer belongs to her family. Sometimes, the greatest victory isn't destroying your enemy. It's watching them finally understand what they lost. The Entrepreneur of the Year ceremony. Grand ballroom, crystal chandeliers, 2,000 guests in black tie. Cross Hotel Group is nominated in 4 categories. I'm the keynote speaker. Backstage, I adjust my gown. Black, sleek, powerful, hair up in a sophisticated twist. Diamond necklace, Silas's gift for our 1-year anniversary. Not just as partners, as something more. The announcer calls my name. Applause like thunder. I walk onto the stage, the lights are blinding, then they adjust. Front row, Silas Thorne. Gray eyes proud. Next to him, an empty chair. Patricia Chen. Marcus. My team. Third row, Julian Sterling. Parole ended. Free now. Trying to rebuild. He started a consulting firm. Small clients. No one important. He'll never recover what he lost. I approach the podium. Look out at 2,000 people. A year ago, I begin. I stood on a stage much like this one. I just ended the shortest marriage in Sterling family history. 4 hours. And in ending it, I started something new. Something mine. Pause. Let them lean in. People ask me why I didn't stay. Why I didn't try to fix it. Why I didn't give him another chance. And I'll tell you what I told myself that night. You can't fix someone who doesn't think they're broken. You can only fix yourself. The room is silent. Listening. This year, Cross Hotel Group expanded to 15 new countries. We created 10,000 jobs. We generated $5 billion in revenue. But the number I'm most proud of? 0. That's how many times I doubted my decision to walk away. Applause. But I'm not done. So to everyone here who's standing at a crossroads, who's being told to stay in a situation that's killing them, who's being convinced that leaving is failure, I look at Julian. His face is composed, but I see it. The regret. Leaving isn't failure. Staying in a place that requires you to be less than you are, that's failure. So leave. Walk out at midnight. Sign the papers at 12:05. Build your empire by sunrise. Standing ovation. 2,000 people on their feet. I walk off stage. Silas is waiting. He takes my hand, kisses it. Perfect, he murmurs. It was honest. We walk to the car. Private. Waiting. But someone calls my name. Julian. Running. Desperate. Alara. Wait. I turn. Silas's hand tightens on mine. I just wanted to say, Julian's voice breaks. You were right. About everything. And I'm sorry. For all of it. I look at him. At this ghost of a man I once thought I loved. I know, I say. But sorry doesn't rebuild what you destroyed. It just makes you feel better about destroying it. I get in the car. Silas beside me. The door closes. Through the window, I watch Julian standing alone in the rain. Again, some endings are just beginnings in disguise. Stay with me for one more moment. Because what happens next will show you what it looks like when you finally, completely win. 5:55 a.m. 1 year and 1 day after Julian walked out of the Imperial Suite. Silas and I stand on the rooftop of Cross Heights. The city is waking up. Sunrise, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Chicago spreads below us like a promise. Behind us, the new logo glows. Not just Cross Heights. Cross Thorn International. Our merger became official at midnight. 2 empires. 1 name. Unstoppable. My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer. Alara Cross? The voice is female. Official. This is Judge Morrison's office. I'm calling about the Sterling Estate donation. Yes? The charity you selected, Families Forward, wanted me to inform you that they've converted the property into a women's shelter, specifically for women escaping abusive marriages. They're naming it the Alara Cross House. They wanted your permission. I look at the sunrise, at the city becoming gold. Permission granted, I say. The judge continues. They also wanted me to tell you something. One of their first residents is Beatrice Sterling. She's volunteering there, teaching financial literacy to women starting over. I'm silent. Processing. Beatrice Sterling. Volunteering. Teaching others how to rebuild. Thank you for letting me know, I say. I hang up. Look at Silas. Beatrice is volunteering at the shelter. He raises an eyebrow. Redemption arc? Maybe. Or maybe she finally learned what I learned a year ago. That when you lose everything, you discover who you actually are. Silas pulls me close. His arms around my waist, his chin resting on my shoulder. We watch the sunrise together. Do you ever regret it? He asks. The 2 years pretending to be poor, the marriage, all of it. No, I lean into him. Because all of it led here. To this moment. To you. To us. He turns me to face him. Gray eyes reflecting the dawn. I love you, he says. Simple. True. Not because of the hotels. Not because of the empire. But because you're the only person I've ever met who's as ruthless as I am. And as kind. I laugh. Kind? I destroyed Julian. You destroyed his lies. Not him. There's a difference. He kisses my forehead. You gave Beatrice a shelter. You gave Michelle a second chance. You gave your staff raises and profit sharing. You're building schools for underprivileged kids in every city where Crossthorn operates. That's not ruthless. That's justice. Justice. I repeat, tasting the word. Is that what we're building? That's exactly what we're building. He pulls out a small box, opens it. Inside, a ring. Not a diamond, an emerald, deep green, surrounded by black diamonds. Unique, powerful, nothing like the ring Julian gave me. This isn't a proposal, Silas says. Not yet. This is a promise that when I do propose, and I will, it'll be because I want to spend my life with my equal, not my possession, not my trophy, my partner. Tears sting my eyes. I don't let them fall. When you do propose, yes, he's smiling now, hopeful, vulnerable. Make sure it's at midnight. In a hotel I don't own, so I know you're not just trying to acquire more real estate. He laughs, slides the ring onto my right hand. Deal. 6 a.m. The sun breaks over Lake Michigan. Gold light flooding the city. The countdown is over. 1 year since Julian abandoned me. 1 year since I signed the divorce papers at 12:05 a.m. 1 year since I reclaimed my empire. Silas's phone buzzes. He checks it, smiles. The Sterling Cross patent portfolio just cleared escrow. We officially own Julian's entire intellectual property library. How much? 200 million, which means he shows me the screen. A transfer confirmation. Crossthorn International is now worth $15 billion, making you and me the wealthiest couple in Chicago. Couple. The word settles in my chest. Warm. Right. What should we do first? I ask. Celebrate. Champagne. Breakfast. Then, he pulls up a document. We announce the Crossthorn Foundation. $3 billion in initial funding. Mission. Provide education, housing, and job training to anyone trying to rebuild their life after trauma. I read the mission statement. See my father's legacy. My mother's kindness. Everything my family built. Everything I almost lost. Everything I fought to keep. It's perfect, I say. It's necessary. He closes the phone, looks at the city. We have $15 billion. We can do anything, build anything. But the thing I'm most proud of, we did it without becoming the people who hurt us. I look at the city, at the Crossthorn logo glowing behind us, at the sun rising on a new empire built on truth instead of lies. My phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. I open it. Congratulations on the merger. I'm happy for you. Truly. You deserved better than what I gave you. I hope someday I can be half the person you are. J. Julian. Reaching out. Trying to make peace. I don't respond. Don't block him. Just close the message. Some chapters end. Some stories close. Some people fade into memory. And some mornings, you stand on a rooftop with someone who sees you completely, who knows every scar, every victory, every 4-minute decision that changed your life. Silas kisses me, soft, deep, promise and present all at once. When we pull apart, the city is fully awake. Chicago, my city, our city. Ready to start the day, he asks. Ready to start the rest of our lives. I correct. We walk toward the elevator. Hand in hand, equal partners in an empire we built from midnight signatures and dawn decisions. Behind us, the sun rises over Crossthorn International, over the city we conquered, over the life we chose instead of the life that was chosen for us. If you've ever been told you don't belong, remember this. You don't need permission to own the room when you already own the building. Subscribe to this channel right now if you believe in the power of the underdog. And before you go, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We want to know where our next empire builders are located.